Hey, what is up guys, Shadow Steel here, and welcome to another episode of Railworks Sundays. Today we are dealing once again with the Racetrack Rocket, which for the love of God, I have been trying to record this episode several frickin' times, and so far it's not really working out too well. God damn, this is getting annoying. Anyway, quite some time ago I actually had a few issues with the original Racetrack Rocket that I, wanted to fix here and there. One of the biggest issues was actually of just how the yard was acting and whatnot. It didn't look as alive as I wanted it to. So that was one issue. Another issue, as you can see up on screen, is that I actually had a slight issue with the menus. You see, the menus actually ended up falling apart on me, and in turn I had to, what I attempted to do was reinstall the game and see if that fixed it. Little did I know that this actually deleted the original scenarios that I created on Railworks, and, well, luckily two of them were already submitted. These were on the Clear Creek narrow gauge, but the other one, which was the Racetrack Rocket, that one actually got deleted, and as a result I had to rebuild it from scratch. But I did have some more knowledge on how I could fix some of the small issues. So nonetheless, I got everything working out in the around. By the time the menus got fixed, I had about I spent like a month or two, month and a half maybe, on trying to fix the menus itself. And the only other issue that I was having was trying to get the routing all easy and stuff like that. Now, the biggest problem I have is actually trying to load the scenario and get it running. It's mainly a memory issue on my end, on my PC, as the game takes up quite a bit of memory to load up. As you can see, the menus have still been loading the entire time and everything. In fact, I am fully expecting a so-called file dump as soon as this thing starts up, because when it took this long to load last time, I actually had my recording end pretty abruptly. It's already been there we go. Okay, there we go. Good morning, engineer. Today we'll be helping set up the Racetrack Rocket. Make sure you set the yard switches so you can leave the siding. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that up, center on player. So as you can see, we're already kind of getting things underway here. Okay, so the line is set. We got a clear block ahead. And I'll go in the cab here and go ahead and set up the beacon. No, that says gauge lights, but it says beacon. That's interesting. Alright, sounding the horn a couple times and moving out of the yard. So first things first, you'll notice that the locomotive has changed from an SW1500 to a typical GP38-2. I'm not exactly sure, but I think most of the Burlington Northern fleet the Burlington Northern Santa Fe's locomotive fleet does use the GP38s as their switching locomotive. They haven't used the ST40s, I think, in normal switching service, but I do believe they use these quite a bit on the off chance that they're operating various trains, like doing switching moves. Also, the number on the side of it, 2108, I didn't intend for this, but this might be a reference to the Frisco Railroad, because I think the GP38, not exactly sure what it was, but I want to say there was a Frisco locomotive, because I was contacted by somebody who saw a screenshot of this, and he said that if the number, like the last number was such and such, then it would be part of the former Frisco fleet, which was absorbed by the Burlington Northern in 1980. And then when Burlington Northern merged with the Santa Fe in 1996, many of the locomotives got their numbers changed for a third time. But many of the Burlington Northern fleet did keep their original numbers. Many of the Santa Fe locomotives, I believe, had their numbers changed. In fact, a handful of the Super Fleet locomotives, which are the war bonnet locomotives, actually were given new numbers. I'm going to go ahead and check that out here. Now, this is one of the Illinois-bound trains bound for Quincy, Illinois. The cars, unfortunately, Railworks does not have Horizon cars. So I've actually used the passenger cars from the Northeast Corridor. So that's the only other thing that's a bit of a problem. The locomotive, however, is part of the actually part of the Empire Builder set. So I know I could have used the Miami racetrack, the Miami track route. But I thought that because the Empire Builder comes with the Superliner cars that I've kind of required for some of my scenarios. And that's one of the things. All Burlington Northern Santa Fe content is only exclusive to the route. So if the route... I'm trying to keep away from any content that's required a BNSF license to actually own it, because a lot of people outside of the United States, outside the 50 states of the United States, cannot own BNSF content. I know they are capable of owning this route because they actually removed all BNSF signage on this route, and the fact that my locomotive actually has the BNSF logo on it is actually a result of a mod that I have on this route. Am I not going to stop in time? Considering I'm on a 0% grade, I'll just turn that off. You can hear the engine of a metro train sitting out there. Alright, as you enter the tracks into Union Station, make sure you press tab to ask for permission. Alright. Approved. Go ahead and just move my camera out to the local cars we're going to hook up to. Go ahead and keep an eye on her. Quite fast, actually. So there are going to be 3 versions of the scenario, or rather 1 or maybe 3, but I do expect to have 2 up and running soon. This one is the European, outside the United States, kind of friendly version for you guys that are really interested in playing this scenario. Mainly because all the content available is going to be exclusive, very friendly, European friendly. Oh dear God. And I stopped short again. Okay, there we go. Now we need to take these cars and drop them to the near. Now we need to take these cars to the nearby metro yard and drop them off. Now I wonder if that's actually an extra space I put off by accident or something. I don't know. Alright, so switch the lights. Release the brakes. Go ahead and move. And what I'm going to do is flip the camera around here, just so I can actually see. Meanwhile, as we're accelerating, I'm going to go ahead and start switching the switches here. So, that's the 12th yard there. We need to flip this switch. We need to flip this switch. And we should be good. There you go. Probably should accelerate a little bit more. Turn off the bell. Meanwhile, the one reason... Now, I said earlier that the yard doesn't really feel alive as we do this switching maneuver. Well, as you can see over here, this is one of the reasons why I've had some time to work on this and had some difficulty kind of getting it set up. That right there is some of the cars from the Empire Builder set. And you'll soon notice that there's a particular locomotive pushing it into the yard. As a temporary placeholder, I actually had the Pooch pushing these cars, but the Pooch has been out of service since the late 90s, and has actually been replaced, and its replacement is the one that's pushing these cars. Well, I'm going to cut my throttle a bit. I'll keep throttling up a little bit. Nope, never mind. I also think that the car set is a little short. I'm not exactly sure if I did this right, or made the California Zephyr set correct. I said I will make 2 different versions of this scenario at least. One of them going to be on the workshop, but another one's actually going to be a Facebook kind of exclusive for those who are interested. I'm actually a part of a Facebook group called the Train Simulator 2017 and TS World Screenshots group over in Facebook. There's a big poppin' P. Okay, so there's my locomotive. Move the camera up so I can actually see. There's 519 over there. A little P32. Now that's actually kind of an interest. I did this to just make things feel a little more alive, because one of the things I loved about yard switching moves is just having things going on around you. If you listen closely, you'll actually hear the engine sounds here. Did it just bounce? Oh wow! There's a bit of a lump here somewhere. Oh, the track was set correctly. Okay. Keep an eye on the switches there. Flip around over here and flip this around. Ow. So we're on instruction 5, huh? So, as it lives now on the screen right now, there's actually a small list of what I've mentioned so far, right about here, which is what you're going to need for the scenario to work. And don't worry, I've made sure that none of the content is BNSF licensed. The only thing that I'm worried about is the Empire Builder, actually, because the Empire Builder was a former Great Northern train. The set that's required is the Amtrak version, but if that's the case, I'll go ahead and reset that kind of thing, because the P32 actually comes with Superliner cars as well, and that's not going to be too big of an issue to actually get them all in there. Okay, now we got everything set up over there. I'm going to go move my camera out here. What I'm going to try and do is actually go ahead and put the cars up to the very edge of the signal there. Well, it looks like we won't be too it won't be too much of a problem. Okay, another thing on the list on this side is the Union Pacific passenger cars. They're not actually part of the asset pack, the U.S. asset pack, but instead they're part of the FEF3. You can see that the California Zephyr from the Western Pacific FP7 set is on this. And finally, ironically, the Pooch is still in this set in some way in the version of the passenger cars that are situated on the Phase 3 passenger cars that are situated on the set. I'm going to go ahead and start applying brakes. I want to get right up until the signal there. Yep. I forgot because I'm facing backwards. The train actually, you know. So there's our little friend, 765. Another thing you probably will notice on her set, the Feather River Canyon's mentioned on her on the cars there. So while I am kind of sitting here, I'm going to show you a little bit about this section of the yard. We have Nickel Plate Road 765 with our Mars light situated on her headboard or smoke box. We got a tanker car masquerading as the fuel tender for her. Now, on the actual Joliet rocket, she was wearing a Rock Island. She had a Rock Island water tender because she was on former Rock Island trackage, actually. So this is actually part of the racetrack itself, so you don't need to worry about that. Want to use as much assets from the racetrack as possible to kind of limit the amounts that we're using in there. And then we have the Western Pacific Feather River Canyon for the boxcar here. And then we have some low poly count passenger FP40s. And then on this side, we actually have high poly count, which you probably should replace. There's passengers inside. High poly count passenger cars of the Metra commuter line. And if you haven't figured it out by now, the Metra logos are not actually a part of the route itself. The Metra logos are actually part of a mod, which I've linked in the description to kind of help out with that. In fact, a lot of the mods that I've linked in, I've actually linked up quite a few mods in the description, mainly because of the fact that I feel they're kind of required at this point. Now let's head back to Union Station. All right. So I'm going to double check the routing aspect here. First off, I want to set this to be 12 already. Go ahead and go through here. Go through here, lead 6. So switch that one. And then finally, check the switches here. Go ahead and switch that. There we go. All right. Just kind of launched forward. Oh. Go. And there we go. Woo! Kind of an interesting little locomotive there. Keeping an eye on all signals though. So, oh, that's the signal in front of me. Okay. Okay. So last time I did a recording, I actually, I thought I triggered the signal behind me and it said denied. It was actually the signal in front of me, so that's actually good. Now it's saying to trigger the signal behind me, but we're not going that far back. We're actually quite fine. I need to just get past the signal here. I'm gonna start applying brakes a little bit, setting the throttle forward. Now. You can probably hear it. There's another metro train heading our way. Okay. Flip around. Oh, interesting. So the forward keys actually do that. Huh. Is that emergency brake? I guess so. Alright. Go to... So now we just got to go forward. Here we go. Now this is a interesting little set of scenarios, to be honest. I have always had kind of a bit of fun with designing switching scenarios because they were always so yard movements. It's daily life on the railroads. The end-to-end journeys on freight railroads, yeah, they're okay. They're something that many people are probably used to seeing, and yes, there's a stopping passenger service in almost every major city. But the stuff you don't see, like nighttime switching, oh wow, he actually moved quite fast. Oh, you know what? I was just sitting in the yard for long enough for him to actually appear. Okay. But yeah, the nighttime movements and stuff like that. I actually have a plan for 765 on another scenario featuring the racetrack. So there's that. So also in the description, I unfortunately didn't list everything, but at the end of the video, I do plan on showing off a list of what you're going to need. And this list is pretty important because it requires quite a bit of content. Okay. Also, one thing. I can't see where I am. Oh, I'm zoomed in. That's why. One thing you should note is that inside, fairly low poly, and then inside it's, high poly. Inside it's low poly, outside it's high poly. Kind of to make things a little easier on the computer. So we're actually catching up to the metro train now. That's interesting. So that's train 1304, metro timetabled to arrive at Chicago Union Station at, I want to say, oh yeah, it's 8:40 when it's supposed to arrive at the Chicago Union Station. Around that exact same time, another metro train is supposed to leave. However, this train somehow consistently gets in there pretty early. So every time, I'm actually kind of trying to figure out what is going on there. Nice little pacing shot for you guys. In fact, I wonder if he's trying to go on through my tracks. Not sure. Oh well. Wait a minute. West Lead. Union Station. West Yard Lead. So I should be going through there. However, for some strange reason, it keeps saying I don't attend to it. I wonder. Oh, no. There we go. I've been speeding quite a bit during this episode, haven't I? Wait. So I haven't been in this locomotive quite a bit. Actually, I have been in this locomotive quite a bit because I've recorded this episode nearly 3 frickin' times. This is the 3rd time I've recorded this, and it's actually doing, okay. Now, the reason that the second... I actually have a reason for why the second recording actually failed on me. I got a file dump. So right as I took a screenshot, the game crashed on me. And as a result, I couldn't really, continue on. So there's that. Also, somebody who knows about locomotives, or at least Burlington Northerns, if you can actually mention the horn that's on this locomotive, if it's proper or not. Because it sounds decent, except for the bell. But this horn sounds something like what you would hear on the older generation EMDs. Though I would still probably mod it later, but as it stands right now, it's not too bad. Okay, stopping point. Oh god. Whew. Alright. So, before we continue, I'm going to stop the episode here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show off something I like to call the screenshot of the week. This is something that I'm going to be doing from now on every episode, which means that the episodes may be a little longer than normal. Lately I've been recording episodes for about 30 minutes, I've already recorded 24 minutes, and we still have quite a bit of time on this scenario. So, I give you the screenshot of the week. Today's screenshot of the week is provided by Terrence Dangerfield. His screenshot of the Union Pacific GP30 in this artistic style was actually quite impressive. For more screenshots like this, go to the Facebook group Train Simulator 2017 and TS World Screenshot Group. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little video there, or well, the little segment. Now that's going to be a thing that I want to do every episode. And I've actually explained a little, and I'll probably explain a little bit more in detail later on in maybe another video or something like that, where I kind of tell you how you guys can submit your screenshots, how I plan to alert you guys when the screenshot of the week is released. Because there's actually an interesting thing about this particular segment. That was actually planned about half a week before this episode was released. Or rather, it was planned today, essentially, of this recording. Because I am actually literally recording within 3 days before this is supposed to be submitted. So, once again, make sure you are pressing tab to ask for permission into the station. Alright, so. There we go. Quick thing to note about this particular part of the segment. You need to tab right around here. Not anywhere else. Please be advised. We're gonna go ahead and go here. Oh, the metro train's just now entering the station as we go through. Approved. There we go. There he is. There I am. So if I calculate this right, we could leave the station just... Oh boy. Oh wait. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Alright, alright, alright. Maybe not. Slow it down. Can't see because of the damn column. Oh god. Oh god! Holy shit! Jesus! I'm glad these locomotives stop on a dime, but still! Seriously, they have like super high acceleration and stop on a dime! Okay, you should know the drill by now. Make your way back to the metro yard. Alright. So, from here, I gotta just pull the throttle back. As he pulls into the station, I am pulling it out. Just gotta make sure that the signals are clear. Speaking of which... Okay, good. So, the last time I did the scenario, this didn't trigger right. There might be a slight issue occasionally with that, so just be careful there. There we go. So he's finally entering the full platform. In fact, as soon as he stops, I could. The other one probably is going to start moving. Keep an eye on the signals again. Oh, I'm speeding now. Oh, oh. Now, one thing I do wish that there was DLC for soon was F59PHI. I'm not sure. It's a locomotive that's featured on the Pacific Surfliner and the new Pensacola routes. Or, I think it's Pensacola. I don't know. Okay, I'm not taking a screenshot just yet, but still. Does that get clear? In fact, he should be pulling out right about now. He's got 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Right on schedule. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I didn't actually have him loading up the passengers by the time, as a result, but it's still kind of fine. It's still fine. Speaking of which, so there I am. I think his track kind of goes this way. kind of trailing me. Not exactly sure. Well, we've definitely passed the signal now. Also, because there's multiple passenger views, this view here is actually of an Amtrak car. So don't think this is actually the California Zephyr, which this is. Once again, keep an eye on signals. Even when you're riding the passenger view, you need to make sure you're pressing tab every so often. Or I think it's shift tab, actually, for this particular scenario, depending on where I'm at exactly. I don't know. Okay, flashing red. That's our signal indication there. Now press tab behind. We are approved. Now, technically, I probably don't think you guys will need too much explanation if you are if you're, okay with, if you know a thing or two about Railworks, you know very well how this works. Especially with switching scenarios, and that you need to keep an eye on signals all the time because the yard is just full of signals. Probably can turn off the bell now. I think I've had that on for a while now. Okay, recording 5 minutes. I'm probably going to be another, 10? Before everything's done. Now, one thing I will admit with guys who made this route, the locomotive here, the BNSF GP32, very nice in regards to doing general switching moves. I wouldn't do it in long haul runs. The only another small, I mean these are fairly minor gripes in my opinion. In that what ended up happening with this route, that only a handful of issues have popped up for me. The memory bugs have been the biggest of the issues, but other than that, that's not much of a issue with this route, with the rolling stock. Physics could be updated here a touch on certain segments, on certain locomotives and stuff. But there are plenty of people who have already released mods and stuff to fix the physics and stuff like that. And okay, there we go. I've been worried I've not been on camera the entire time. But yeah, it's not too big of an issue, to be honest. Now again, at the end of the video, I do plan on showing off what is required in regards to the content, because there's going to be a large list. This is the first time I've actually used a ton of assets just for one particular scenario. Now don't worry, I don't think I've had too many routes installed on this scenario, but if there is, I'll be sure to fix that and change it up. And because this is a European kind of friendly version, I don't think there's going to be much of a problem in regards to getting everything set up. Go ahead and start braking now. So there's the signal that we need to go behind, but I want to get our locomotive as close to it as possible. Now, there was a concept in this design where I would actually go ahead and make a second part of the switching scenario where you would continue to fiddle with the cars and get it up to running, but thankfully, I probably, just for the heck of it, I may do it later on, but for now, it's not going to be kind of a part that I will continue making with. Okay, now we should be fine. In fact, that's actually perfect. There we go. Alright, so I gotta put on the handbrakes on this car, and then this car, and then on a couple. Alright, with that done, head over to the locomotive drop-off, which is where essentially we started. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go look at the end of this train. I want to see how it looks. Looks quite nice, actually. Well, fuck. I spad. Quite a few times, actually. Whatever. Interesting. I have not set the yard switches, actually. Interesting. There we go. That should help me. Okay, word of warning, guys. Do not do what I did. Do not do what I ended up doing there. Jesus Christ. I went through 5 red signals, I think. I went through so many red signals. Just because I wasn't paying attention. Honestly, that was stupid of me. Alright, here we go. Yep, none of those switches were lined up properly. Wait, no, they were. Were they? I don't know. I don't know, I think it was just this switch that wasn't lined up properly. Oh well. Alright, there we go. Alright. Alright, go to the street shops. I actually see the metro trains starting to move too. Oh, come on! Also, somebody please tell me the key. Somebody, I will probably need to look this up eventually, but I need to know the key command for asking permission behind. Hello, buddy. Goodbye. I want to do... Like, I wonder what the... Because I know there's metro trackage down the south end of the route, I think. I know there's metro trackage on the... I think I want to say that there's metro trackage on the... Blair, come on. Move, move, move. There I am. There's all the signal junctions. Okay, we're good. We're good. I want to say that there's probably more metro trains that I'm not putting into the scenario than I have. Low poly metro trains and then low poly passenger cars. Alright, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Somehow I went 11 miles an hour and it didn't screw me up there. Also, if you look at the map, it's pretty much the same thing that I've been doing. So, going through here, then there, and then back, and then back. Kind of a little switchback, I guess. I'm gonna keep an eye on all traffic, at least. Light. So also that metro train was the last active train on the roster when you play the scenario. So you're not going to see any more from me, but I've also kind of screwed up in that I was running a bit late in how I played this. The fastest time I've ever played this was actually 37 minutes, so about 35-40 minutes. However, if you kind of mess around, kind of like, and, you know, do that kind of like relax on the run, you probably will get this done within 45 minutes, at least. 45-50 minutes. And actually, we're about to reach the 45 minute now. Now you just gotta switch this. Nope, wrong switch. This is the switch you need to switch. Alright. Locomotive drop off on the way. There we go. Get her up to speed a little bit. Oh, now I'm speeding. Great. That's just great. I once again had the lights on the wrong direction, so I'll just go ahead and just... Where am I? There I am. gonna go ahead and probably get my train just past the signal and just act as if the scenario is pretty much a real life scenario. Okay, switch them down a little bit. There we go. I'm going full service, neutral. Turn off the beacon, turn off the bell, and we're good. We'll check all the scenario option instructions. Did I do everything right? I did. Turn on the cab light before we leave. Alright, good work. Another crew will take over from here. Why don't you get yourself a cup of coffee? Already done. Oh, okay. Alright, final destination reached. So, like I said, the fastest time I've ever done that was actually, oh wow, okay, interesting. I actually did that in 36 minutes. That is very interesting. And, what the? Okay, interesting. Anyway, the scenario is now up on the workshop, and in the next clip, I'm going to show off what you're going to need for the scenario, and then later, after that, I'm going to go ahead and link. There is from now on, I've actually been doing to be continued screens to show off the next episode, and this will be kind of a new feature because after December, the season system that I've been using will no longer be in effect. I've been doing the season thing for a long time, and I decided that it just wasn't worth it. So I decided, well, let's get rid of the seasons and then just continue it out from there. So once December hits and once we get the Christmas special done, from that point on, all episodes will be part of a single series called Railworks Sundays. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like or subscribe, maybe even a comment. Tell me how you did on the scenario. Because as of right now, this scenario is up on the workshop. Oh, and congratulations to the Train Simulator 2017 and TS World screenshot group on Facebook that I mentioned earlier in the video. This video was actually meant to dedicate their membership reaching 900 members. But by the time of this video's release, it may be up to a little over what I would want to say almost 1,000 members. But so far, they've been having a little bit of trouble. So they probably would appreciate it if you guys kind of show them some love and get some more members in there. Because a lot of these scenarios I feature, later on, more and more scenarios will kind of feature their content. So leave a like, comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Okay, for a second I thought the audio died on my game. But it didn't. I gotta keep loading like this, or what? Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go, file dump. I knew that was gonna happen. I guess when you load up the racetrack twice, it causes a file dump. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video as far to the very end, actually. On screen right now, you can see a list of DLC items you're going to need for the Racetrack Rocket Part 1 of 4 to work. Now, naturally, this is only just Part 1 of 4, and there will be more DLC added on as time progresses. But that will be for the next 3 parts. The only other thing that's going to be slightly of an issue would be if you guys don't tend to use mods, like physics mods and whatnot, because the Berkshire has been notably very weak in power, so the later scenarios may feature some struggling up the down the line if you don't work the locomotive correctly. So in the description, I have once again managed to link some mods that may help out later on. These mods are the mods I use pretty often for the Berkshire and other locomotives, so but I would still recommend being careful when installing them, as uninstalling the game and then reinstalling it will not trigger the mods to work properly. Now with that said, the workshop scenario is up on the workshop now. So I would recommend going checking it out. But other than that, well, I'll let you guys decide on whether or not to go to